Here's one for you. Just after dropping the kids off to school, and my 8-year-old son, Fionn, we got talking about, I mentioned expertise. And he said, Dad, what's that? And I go, well, expertise is a way of, it's a way of describing somebody having a lot of knowledge about something. If you're an expert in fishing, then you have an expertise in fishing. It's just a different way It's a different way of explaining what being an expert is saying somebody has an expertise in something. And he goes, okay. And he goes, are you an expert in anything, Daddy? And I was like, no, dude, I'm actually not, to be honest with you. I'm more of a generalist. And he goes, of course, what's a generalist, Dad? And I said, well, I don't really know a huge amount about any one thing. I know lots of different things about lots of different things. So I'm more of a generalist than an expert. I don't really have an expertise in anything per se. So we had a bit of a chat about that, and it kind of got me thinking. I was on the way home before I started this recording, and the mind was whirring along as it usually does, and I was like, this is fucking prime fucking YouTube material. And I started trying to articulate what it was that I liked about being a generalist. And I think what it is, and certainly partly what it is that I love the fundamentals of things. Give me the fundamentals of anything, because fundamentals are so much more valuable than kind of random bits of surface knowledge. Fundamental knowledge is deeper, and it's kind of more usable. It has more utility. And I thought of what I think is a really good example of this. So I could tell you that a barracuda, which is a type of fish, has a very light coloured belly. So it sits in the water like that, say, like pretty much all fish. And underneath here, its underside, its belly, is white practically. But its top side, when you look down on it, its back, say, is very dark. Okay, so I'm going to have to give you that bit of information. And now you know a very specific piece of information about a very specific fish. And it starts and ends there. And there's not much utility in knowing that. Okay, it might be a bit of fucking trivia or something, you know, better than nothing, but not much. But if I was to give you the fundamentals, let's see how far the fundamental version of that goes. So with all aquatic life, not all aquatic life, but let's say with all fish, maybe not every single fish, but with the vast majority of fish, broad sweeping generalization alert, the overwhelming majority of fish have a light coloured underside and a dark topside, or a light belly and a dark back. And the reason for that is when they're in the water, and if a predator, let's say, is underneath them looking up, lurking in the deep, say, in the shadows, in the dark, looking up, its light underside camouflages it against the sky. And conversely, when it's swimming along minding its own business and something's above it looking down, its dark back camouflages it against either the ground or just the darkness of the depths. And that's true of fish, it's true of, is it turtles or tortoises? No, I think turtles live on land and tortoises live in the water. I think I have that right, yeah, so tortoises. Light coloured underbelly, dark coloured back or top of the animal. And this is the same for eels, I'm sure it's the same for whales. I'm just thinking now, when I say whales, I'm trying to think killer whales. I know they're black and white, but are they predominantly white on the underneath? It doesn't really matter. When you're a killer whale, you could be fucking fluorescent pink for all they give a fuck. King of the fucking ocean. No one fucks with killer whales. And again, there are exceptions. I'm sure there are, you know, completely yellow fish and completely black fish and all the fucking rest of it. It's a broad sweeping generalization. But the point stands. I originally told you a very specific piece of information about a very specific fish, and it didn't really have any utility. But then I go and tell you about the more fundamental reason for that, it's to stay hidden, because it works for both predators and prey. Predators want to attack without being seen, and prey don't want to be seen and therefore not attacked. Crocodiles and alligators, exact same thing. Practically white on the underneath and practically black looking down from above. And there's something to that. Now you can use that as a proxy for pretty much everything. The fundamental knowledge is the most important knowledge. The deeper the knowledge, the more that you can extrapolate out from it. And on that note, I'll chat to you soon.